But a few seconds, and then I will start the intro. It's always a fun part, leading up, getting it out there. Well, guys, we are live for one of the most requested episodes of the EMPI Insider to date. Before we get started, I do owe a very special thank you to John Mead for prodding me to do this. He's a huge fan, local fabricator. John, shout out to you, man. It's been awesome. We were able to put this together, and I'm stoked. We have the dude, the man, the myth, the creative genius and mastermind, Ian Roussel, hanging out with us today in the EMPI Insider, man. Ian, thank you. That's all I can say to start off with.
You're very welcome. Glad to be here. Takes a lot to pry me out of my cave, but I felt it was worthy.
This is something that we're super stoked to have, and the comments are already starting to roll in, and it's so cool. You're like that guy, that mysterious superhero, as we candidly were talking in the green room, but hey, man, people want to know about you, about how you got started, and the love for the Volkswagens. Obviously, there's a common ground here for all of us to do it, man. So this is cool. So I don't even know where to start. All right. I mean, take us on a history, and we're going to get right to a lot of this stuff because we've had a busy day planned already.
For sure.
And
we got a whole hour. What do you want to know?
They're already firing away, man. This is cool. So all the guys, thank you guys so much for chiming in, tuning in. This is going to be awesome. I guess it's going to be like a rapid fire deal. Like, do we want to start at the beginning, kind of how you got in, like the love for Volkswagen started, or do we want to see, how it worked into just the show in general?
It's really up to you. I mean, however you're feeling. I mean, I'm all ears. Let me know what you want to know.
Well, how did the love for the Volkswagen, because everybody sees it, they see you working on something. There's always some kind of crazy creation that in more episodes than not has got a Volkswagen in it. But how did you get to fall in love with that little car?
I'm really not 100% sure, but my grandmother had one, and that was the thing. It was kind of like the family car. It got, like so many, derelict on the side of the house. I'm 14 years old, fascinated by this thing. And my dad's like, yeah, whatever. If you can get that running by the time you're 16, you got a car to drive. So that's how it all started.
And braving the weather. That was back in New York during that
Oh,
time?
yeah. That's the thing. I probably could have had any car if I put my mind to it, but it was just like I was in love with that Volkswagen Bug, just a ratty old 72 Super Beetle, rotten to the core, and I had to drive it.
Flintstone brakes and everything.
Oh, you don't even know. The seat fell through the floor, the whole deal. Battery hanging out, everything.
Oh, it's awesome. So then, as you kind of progressed from the love of just, I guess you say the spark, it just kind of grew into almost an obsession a little bit, or?
Well, I always loved the style of it, the history of it, the people's car, just the whole look of it. Very 1930s styling for sure with the bubble fenders, but just the simplicity of it. I would read everything. I go to the library, read. I read the How to Keep Your VW Alive for the Complete Idiot. I read that thing cover to cover multiple times. And that's pretty much it. I just was fascinated by the machine.
That's awesome. Guys, I see you guys in here already in the green room commenting, getting the comments rolling and stuff like that. We're doing our best to make sure we cover everybody. So please, if you do have a question, start getting them queued up. We do have a handful of them already set aside, but we want to make sure we try to get to everybody as much as we can. So get them rolling, guys. We're watching as fast as we can. So now take us through, like, when you've just, after the initial, like, falling in love with it, was there a kind of a model you wanted to chase after, or is it just like the particular, bug guy, bus guy?
Well, mostly it was because they were so rare. Like where I grew up, they just kind of didn't exist. You could get them, and we had this thing called the penny saver classifieds where you could get them for free. So I was like, I had a whole bunch of them.
Really?
Drag them home with my friend's pickup truck and a tow bar, like you guys sell, same thing. And we just started tinkering with them, get them running, we try out different things. Hot VW's magazine, of course, that was all we could get in New York. And I was like, this is fascinating.
That's awesome. I mean, I've go out off-road with them too and mess around, or was it just more street car stuff?
Oh, no, we were woods. We would jump these things. You just go out because we had a lot of dirt bike trails, and a VW bug on a dirt bike trail, that's pretty exciting. We would romp these
little
things.
Narrow pathway though, man.
Little rabbit trails. It was awesome. There's probably still some sitting out there.
You just left. And
my friend Dave will probably remember. There's definitely one still sitting out there.
Now that sounds like a future episode for you.
Right? Trek out to find it. I know exactly where it is. It's in Millwood, New York.
There you go, guys. He's already started leaving crumbs for you. So who's going to be the first to go out there and get it?
Yep.
It's a new version of kind of our Easter egg we were dropping last year. We drove cross country, so that'd be cool. And then was it just? Did you ever kind of get more into like the muscle car era aspect of stuff too, or is it?
No, I didn't. There was a lot of dudes in high school. I had the Chevelle, big block, all that stuff, and I remember we'd hang out near the train tracks. It was kind of like a group. High school kids, and I see these dudes with their big muscle cars burning out, and I'm just like, I'm just not into that. Something about the VW and like the Cal look, that's what got me.
Yeah, you guys have some good history in racetracks and stuff like that, and drag strips and stuff.
Oh, I was definitely the oddball. Really? People are like, what the heck? I had my Volkswagen in high school. I had like a little graveyard scene where the back seat used to be. It was like styled. That was called Beetlejuice. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, there used to be an old drag car out here called Beetlejuice.
Cool.
And local guy, I think it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I had the little, where the rear view mirror is on the windshield, that little banner that would, reflect, and it said Beetlejuice on it. Oh, super cool.
You got to share some of those pictures. I wish we would have had more time to prep for this thing.
Oh, I have a huge archive. Like, I kept all my photos.
Really?
My friends from high school remember that car, yeah.
That's sick. So, but you're never really like a super horsepower guy. It's one of the things since we've been kind of talking a little bit, you're not like a horsepower guy.
I'm kind of low and slow. That's it. It's like the low riding, lowered VW. I never really need to go that fast.
Not yet.
I did drive a sand rail this weekend with a 2180, and that sucker boogied. Light car.
Oh, yeah.
High torque. That thing was fun. We went to Dumont, and that thing tore it up.
Yeah, we saw some of those things on there. That's pretty sick. Just being able to go out and smash around with something that makes 150, 180 horsepower in a car that weighs 750 pounds.
Yeah, but also just the desert. That's why I moved to California. I mean, obviously the whole scene. I mean, I was into skateboarding, VWs, surfing, the whole West Coast thing, and there I am in New York, out in the woods.
You were definitely an oddball out there. It's like we got to carve that one out.
Yeah.
And you definitely fit the Southern California scene for sure.
Yeah, people say that, even my voice, they were like, you don't sound like you're from New York. I was like, I guess I was meant to be here.
And now you're way up and building more hot rods, man. So
yeah, I mean, since I moved here, it was one of the things too, with the whole rat rod scene really coming up. I lived in San Fernando Valley, definite hot rod mecca on the West Coast. And so many dudes are like, oh yeah, once you grow up, you'll get rid of those VWs. You'll start building hot rods. So I did. I started building hot rods. Where am I now?
Still building both. Oh, it's awesome. John Mead chiming in said, did you bring the shop inspector with you?
Everyone has asked that question, and no, the shop inspector is not good around people. He's a freaking animal. He will lick you. He doesn't follow orders. He does exactly what he wants. So he's back at the shack.
All right. Another question. We're just going to kind of just jump around. I mean, that's
Sure.
The whole purpose of this radio. This is a show is just to have the free form. But one says, Ian, have you ever offered any type of training classes and stuff like that?
We've been talking about that a lot, and to use my friend Gene Winfield as a model, he does that metal shaping class quite frequently. And I would do it, but I don't really know any like how would I format it? How would I schedule the time? What would I really show? Because I learned everything just myself pretty much. I had a couple people, not really mentor me, but give me some tips. But more than giving classes, like why not just get out there and try something and mess it up?
Yeah, that kind of leads me to another segue. Like, what would you tell somebody that's a like inspiring car builder or just somebody that's in it? Just go out and try it, and it's okay to mess up.
Absolutely.
It's
My first VW Bug was rotten. I pop riveted that thing together with a bunch of galvanized tin and figured that wasn't the right way to do it. The car fell apart, but I tried it.
yeah. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm sure we'd be willing to offer the EMPI garage for you to come out and put together a cool little training.
Yeah,
session.
for sure. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I don't know, like there's so many simple fundamentals that you can find on YouTube, especially, just search metal shaping or welding, etc. But it's I went to welding school, I got certified, and I recommend that for everyone just because the basic fundamentals of welding, joining metal, it's unchangeable. So it's good to know.
Yeah. Where was it? Was it like a moment that you can recall that triggered you say, hey, I'm going to go this pathway now, this car building,
Well, I was messing around in my parents' garage all growing up, and I had a decent job in construction, union laborer in New York City, and I saw the iron workers welding, and I was like, that is freaking cool. It's like I want to weld. So that really upped the game with the car building. Became more proficient, and it was like all of a sudden I'm fixing my buddies' cars, doing this and that, and my dream was to move to California. So I really did just leap of faith. I just moved out here, rented a shop, started doing it.
That's cool. Scott chiming in right now is asking how much of your work is commissioned and how much is actually personal.
Well, that's a struggle I'm having because all I want to do is personal work. But, you got to pay the bills. So that much is right now. I do a lot of stuff for myself, but almost everything you see on the show is commission. I mean, it's real. The clients are real. So I'm working, on their wishes and their budget.
So I think a lot of people don't really know that, or they maybe think it's staged and stuff like that. But those are real builds.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's set up so it makes a good story for TV, of course. But no, Victor's a real guy, guaranteed. He's not as crazy as he seems on camera, but he's a real dude.
We've got one of our Australia followers chiming in right now.
Hello, Australia.
Yeah,
I know there's a lot of folks out there that watch the show. That's cool.
Yeah, he's a regular here. That was a huge Volkswagen nut. Asking what's Ian's favorite VW build of all time.
It's tough. Out of my stable or of all time?
Your build of all time.
It's a tough call. I mean, the Johnny 5, the little truck, it's not even really a Volkswagen, but I think that is my favorite. The funky Futura from Ventura, that crazy blue buggy. That's really nuts. So that would be more VW. But yeah, it's one of those two. They're kind of tied.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, the guy that I opened the show with and kind of talked about, John, he reminds me of you. He's a guy that's work in his garage, and he's like not afraid to ask a question, and the dude can and built some badass stuff. I want to show you when we get done with the show. I'll show you. He's got a turbocharged thing.
Oh,
cool. Roll cage done, and he did everything in house, man. The guy just can build some cool stuff. So I love seeing that. He's the one that really pushed me to get you on the show. So
that's the crazy thing. There's so many talented people out there. I mean, I get criticized for, my skill level, the way I build stuff. And it's like, yes, there's way more talented people out there than what I do. I'm just lucky enough to have a TV show with a really good production staff. makes me really look like I know what I'm doing.
Cut and paste.
It really is just that. You can see it's super simple.
You make it sound super simple, but for a guy that just wants to build cars all the time, you are pretty fluid behind the camera. Let's be honest.
Well, I do. I don't know how that arrangement really came out so well, but that's the thing. It's like I really did just want to build cars. That's why I moved out here.
That's the neat part about it. There's no fluff. There's no nothing. It's just legit. Like hey, cool. I just want to build hot rods. I want to build cars.
For sure. I mean, the editors,
leave me alone.
They cut out a lot of cussing and spitting, make it look real clean and real easy, but it's a true story. I love it.
That's awesome. I mean, you got to be just tripping out on this too. Just the raw, it's real. I mean, that's the cool part about that. I think that's what was so interesting about the show. It's very It's very, I don't want to say simplistic, but it's very direct on how the layout is. It's not overly produced. It's very just raw. I dig it. I think that's probably why you have so many followers on that thing tonight.
Well, the true story is it's a couple friends hanging out. We made our first DVD back in 2003, and it was literally my buddy Brooks and I hanging out, building the car. That's how it happened. That's why it's so honest. It's so genuine.
But you never even wavered from it, too. It's like how it is there to how it is today. I mean,
I wouldn't know how to do it any other way.
that's
The
cool.
thing. It's like I'm not an actor. I just play one on TV.
Scott's chiming in again. This is so there's a local cruise night here called Duke's. It's
Yeah,
3
he
miles
invited
down
me
the
to that.
road. Got to cruise down there after, depending on, it starts at 6:00, but you got a hell of a drive home too.
Oh, and I know Orange County is a hotbed for hot VWs. I know it's all going on around here.
Good content, man.
Yeah.
I love it. Just guys, keep those questions going. We're trying to get through them as best we possibly can. Norm Roberts chiming in. Any chance of an open house at the new shop?
Well, the new shop is at my house, and my house is 5 miles off the pavement in a very undisclosed location. So I think negatory on that.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. But if we decide to get him to, if we can talk him into doing a workshop, we can have him come here.
And that's
we'll
the
do
thing
it.
too. It's like, unfortunately, this COVID situation, I had a lot of car shows planned this year, and everything's called off.
Yeah.
I had all kinds of plans to travel, and yeah, everything got canceled. But no, definitely, like that's my plan is to make a lot more appearances.
That's awesome. Got it here in my area, Washington State. We cannot get your shows other than limited number of reruns on par season. What about a DVD set or full custom garage? I think Motor Trends was really.
Yeah, I'm
helping with that.
really not sure about the whole DVD situation because it becomes like a retail sale issue, and it's like I don't have anything to do with production or distribution. You know, I get so many calls about like, hey, how come I can't see this here? It's like I don't know, I don't even have TV. I don't watch that stuff.
Well, Dennis, from personal experience, I've learned that Motor Trend, you can watch a lot of the older episodes on it and locked in there. So there's quite a few on there, and there's a lot of episodes on there.
Yeah, and I know I think a lot is on Amazon. Amazon Prime has some stuff for free online. I know that like in Australia they had trouble seeing stuff content online, but the Lucas Oil app I understand has stuff. And as you mentioned, I guess Motor Trend has an online presence also.
Yeah, yeah. And then Hulu's got some episodes
There
on
you
it as
go.
well. So
Hulu too,
they got you covered. Just got to dig it up and pay a subscription some way, shape, or form to get in
I
there.
suppose.
Did some residuals on that one. It's when's some new episodes going to be dropping on Mav and stuff? That's what.
New episodes are like on the shelf. I'll talk to the guy behind you. Any input on that, Brooks? Should be in a couple months. But yeah, we got new ones in the can. We're just we're actually filming today.
Yeah, guys. So this is kind of something new. So you're kind of seeing a bunch of different walking around some of the camera angles and some of the stuff you're seeing. I mean, we're literally filming an episode now, and we're sharing it with you guys, the EMPI Insider fan base, and I think it's pretty cool. And you're seeing, I got this gigantic camera over the shoulder of me right now that you can probably see in that shot. And we're having a blast, man. So this is the raw, fun stuff that we're working together with these guys and hopefully supporting a lot of the future builds. But you guys are seeing it here first.
Oh yeah, first try at this. Yeah, we've done a couple like Skype calls that we use on episode, but this is like live. This is real.
Yeah, live and uncut. See,
That's the guy who makes the magic,
Yep.
Mr. Brooks.
Hi, Brooks. But this is so cool. I mean, and these guys are chiming in. Is Ian coming to El Mirage this weekend? That was another chime in.
Yeah, that's on, huh?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm going to be in New York. It's my dad's birthday. He's 70 tomorrow. So
Very cool.
Yeah, we're heading to the East Coast.
All right, guys. Here's the question in a poll, and if you guys want to see this happen, who would like to see Ian come to Rage at the River and ride in the Class 11 with me?
It's tempting.
And who's gonna? You think we can get him in? That's the big question. We got the seat. We know it'll fit, and I think it'll be pretty badass.
I'm a fanatic for all things desert for sure.
Yeah, we did. The people were asking, is the buggy going to be like part of an episode?
Oh
that
yeah,
you're working on
that buggy, the yellow one that you just saw on Instagram, whatnot. We took it out to Dumont, and that's an episode. Yeah.
And they were asking, is the sandrail part of that like build process too? That was the other question on that.
The sandrail I've had, if you guys are fans of the show, you know Don and the compound and all of his stuff. I got that sandrail from him. I think it was either his or his wife's father. So that has some history. It's old school It's still registered from about the 70s. Pretty interesting.
That's sick.
So that's coming up next.
I started one gentleman saying, started his build on his 1953 Dodge truck just because of you. So
I get a lot of that, and I'm glad to be that kind of inspiration, because what you see on the show, really, that's just freaking do it. Just get in there and try something.
this was a really good one right now that just popped up. Miguel chiming in. Are we going to collaborate with EMPI and M2 for some new VW castings with him? So you guys, you never know what happens. I mean, we've got a lot of ideas. I know that this gentleman likes buggies. We like buggies. You never know what'll happen.
Yeah, no,
Just
definitely.
never know.
And all your Class 11 stuff, I'm really interested in learning more about that, because it is just low tech, all fun.
Oh, yeah. We're going to get you. I'm going to work and wear you down to get you to come out there.
It's not going to take a lot of convincing. I'm already making plans in the back of my head.
I mean, we got you covered, put you up, we'll have a nice good time. So
Yeah, that sounds cool.
it's going to be a blast. And yeah, Johnny Jalopy chiming in.
Watch out for that guy.
He says this is great. So, I mean, it's awesome to see so many people. I mean, we're deep in the triple digits already live watching the show, so it's very cool. Will you be collaborating with Johnny Jalopy again? He just asked.
I sure hope so. I've been tossing ideas at him text message wise. We got a lot of stuff we've been talking about, so let's see.
How many of you guys would like to see an Ian and EMPI collaboration to build a bitchin' EMPI Imp buggy, like retro 70s wide steelies, 10-inch wides?
Oh yeah, count me in.
We got to have some horsepower.
Sounds good. No, that's the thing. I drove my first really fast VW this week, and wow, what a kick! I love that.
All right, so we gotta. I think we gotta put that together.
Sounds good to me.
Peter, I know you're watching, so please get the checkbook ready. I'm sure these don't come cheap, but I think we'll have a lot of fun doing it. Man, what about us? So another one here too. You kind of mentioned it, but the tattoos and different things, the uniqueness with the big bolts.
Yeah, I don't get it. There's so much interest in that. It's like, hey, I'm freaking 18 years old. How many people just get tattoos without any reason? So I just called it my superhero costume. I mean, it's like kind of positive, negative, like, welding, whatever. It's like, it's the electricity.
There you go.
Yeah, it doesn't get too deep, kind of like me. It's just like, hey, what you see is what you get.
It's funny. I see the old Pal Peralta, old school skater.
Yeah,
how many
skater
noticed
for
that
life.
one?
Yeah, that's the Bones Brigade. I actually got to meet Steve Caballero at a car show. What a freaking honor.
Really?
Totally cool, dude.
That's rad. You ever built any bicycles or anything crazy?
Oh, I built everything. Yeah, a lot of bicycles. Lowrider bicycles, high wheel bicycles, freaking, tricycles, you name it.
We got to start seeing. Man, we should have brought a little box of pictures and stuff. We'd love to have seen some of those things.
Oh, I built some weird contraptions, for sure.
I want to build like a Red Bull Flutog kind of thing, where they do that downhill little race in the soapbox derby.
I almost did that. I was joined. They did one in L.A. 5-8 years ago, and I was registered for it, and I just couldn't get it together. I had too much going on. But
man,
that would be a kick.
I won't jump off the pier. I'm scared of heights. But I will drive something with no brakes and give it a try, and hopefully we can survive it. But
no, I'm all about reckless abandon.
Yeah, well, then you're signing up for Class 11 for sure, especially if you're dumb enough and good enough to get in the car with me.
I've rolled some cars over. My back has stories it could tell.
You know what? We've come to the realization that my co-pilot Cameron Frey, NHRA top field driver, he's like the bad luck for us. Seriously, we go out and race, get on the podium without him in the car. Gets in the car, we roll the car both times.
Perfect.
So you're out. Team EMPI for a Red Bull soapbox. Dude, I'm totally in for that, John. And we'd love to have you as part of that too. So we should put that in we should do that.
Yeah, that's a cool idea.
What do you ever get, and this is another question that's come through, do you ever get, like, I don't want to say hated on, or some people see some of the stuff you cut up or kind of make it like unique, and how do you deal with some of that? Is it just because it's your style, or?
Yeah, I've got a lot of criticism, especially when I first started building. Man, there was haters lining up on top of haters. So I used to get offended, but I'm like, hey, why? What's the deal? That's your own weight. I don't really pay attention to that anymore. Just do what I need to.
I did. One of the things that's always stuck with me from the builds and that I've watched you do was when you put in satellite dish. I think that was.
Yeah, that was a risky move because I was literally going through an issue with our satellite provider because they dropped the show or they dropped the network. I'm sorry. So it just seemed fitting. But yeah, no, real true story.
And you know you know that there was definitely underlying tones in that one. That's what made it cool. It was like this guy's like not bullshitting. Like he really did cut the shit up because they cut him off the show, and it's like, take that.
Well, yeah, there it was.
Yeah, now that he's paying still for that, I'm sure. They're like, oh, sir, it's $4,000 for the dish.
Oh, you're allowed to keep the dish. You have to return the transmitter. So it all was a very clean deal.
Where can you find an episode that he did with the Chop Top VW? I think was chopped a lot of tops on VWs. Man, Kenny, I would just say check the Motor Trend. I can tell you, I was kind of binge watching and catching back up with some of the stuff, but I saw a lot of those on the Motor Trend stuff, so I would challenge that.
Yeah, and if he's talking about it's actually the first episode of the first season. If it's the blue bug with the stars on the side, that you could look it up. Episode 1, season 1, wherever that's available.
There you go. Yeah, Wink, I see you chiming in. I think if you made your way over here by the time the end of the show happened, you'd probably like to see your car. Wink, wink. Make it happen. You talk about fast VWs. You're the closest we could get our hands on, and I know your car's fast. Put some of the go-go juice in it and bring it over here and show this guy what's up.
Heck yeah.
Maybe we could entice him to do some more cool tricks. When you get into, and a lot of people like to know the whole Monster Garage build stuff, and talk a little bit about and take us down that kind of memory lane and the involvement with that whole show.
Well, it wasn't so much involvement as it was I just got chosen to be a contestant. You know, I was just working out of my shop, trying everything I could to get some attention for what I was doing, advertise. And I applied to be on that show. And it was actually the very last episode, but I made a better effort at it on this Monster House, which was kind of its sister show. So, I was on both of those, and that's where I met my producer. He was a camera guy, and it's been a happy arrangement ever since.
That's pretty cool.
Shoot, about like 2002, so 18 years ago. We're old.
Both those shows were pretty cool, though. I mean, in their own
fun.
right, in their own area. Like, we had even on Monster Garage, we had Jack and some of that stuff when they did the deal with Jesse on Sauerkraut.
I remember that really freaking drag race, high horsepower car.
Yeah. Jack was involved in that. The gentleman he met downstairs, and that's what it's been kind of neat to really bring everybody together on a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, and these are names that been in the magazine for decades, right? So it's just crazy for me to move here as a nobody, and it's like, whoa, I'm meeting all these people. It's really incredible. Could have never hoped for more than that.
Yeah, you are, and I can attest to this for sure. You are definitely enthusiast about the car, the hobby, just and you know your shit. I mean, you walk through the aisleways today, and you're like, oh, I recognize that, and I recognize this, and it's not just
been around bugs for a while.
Yeah, it's cool, but you know how some people there's personalities, right, of certain people, but it's genuine, so it's pretty very, very cool. Ian is the best damn mad scientist when it comes to metalwork. Yeah,
thank you.
What was there? Is there a certain like builder when you were kind of following or getting into the deeper and deeper? Was there a certain builder that you just really enjoyed or kind of watched it?
Oh, Ed Roth, hands down.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, so many people from Southern California, but I mean, when I saw the Ratfink thing and learned more about this dude, I'm like, far out. That's who I want to be when I grow up.
Have you aspired to I don't say, own a piece of own one of their cars in your collection or anything future? Like you ever kind of get into that kind of stuff?
No. As soon as I finish a car, I get rid of it.
You're not in love with any of them. That's
use them and lose them, send them away. It's that lifestyle.
It's really because I mean for me, I'm like, how could he just pour it in there, smash his finger, kick the damn thing, and then just
I want to work on the next one. That's the bottom line.
It's crazy. And
you see what I drive? I drive a junky old pickup truck. It's got windshield wipers, got a stereo. I'm done. Drive it.
I am still kind of in shock because even when we look at it, it's just like I know what it takes to go in to build some of these things, and I just don't know how you could just be.
Well, that's part of it.
You build it, and then you're just like, oh, cool, I'm done with it. Now on to the next.
I'm exhausted. And it's like a bag of chips. You eat it, it's delicious. Later, next.
It just cracks me up because, like, when I watched the Space Junk one, when you took
Right.
or Space Junk 2, I think it was,
Right.
when you took that original car apart,
Had to do it.
people just had to cringe, man.
I don't understand why. It was literally just sitting in the corner of the shop with a tarp on it for like a year and a half. I just lost interest in it. So time to switch it up.
What's typical? The one shoemaker has no shoes.
Exactly. It's a true story.
Has there been that one car that just really planted your flag, like at a SEMA or a Good Guys Meet or something like that?
Well, I guess the video that we did with the Longshanks, the little roadster pickup. I mean, I think more people saw that than any other car starting off. So I guess it would be that one. And that was a pretty, it was elaborate because we went through the whole process, but it was a pretty like mellow build. Like it didn't really stand out like really audaciously or anything.
That's crazy. So it just. What about like one of the funnest builds you've actually enjoyed to do?
Johnny 5, hands down.
Really?
That thing, I flew through that. I couldn't believe, like, at the end, it was like, that was a lot of work. But, I mean, I was there just sanding, painting, doing the whole thing. I mean, that was the most inspired project out of all of them. And that's how I met That's how I met Johnny Jalopy from that artwork. I saw this drawing, and I didn't know him. I get artwork sent to me all the time, like, this is freaking cool. I got to build that.
That's awesome. Yeah, he's definitely chiming in, the Johnny 5.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, is there been I'm trying to think of the best way, like, is it, because you're turning burning them, but is there ever just that one you're just like, I just wish I would have kept it, or is there that one that got away kind of vibe?
Nope. The answer is no.
Boy, I'm drawing it out of this guy today. I'm just telling you.
I thought about it for a half a second. And nope. But I do have a ATC 350X that I will never get rid of. I love that.
So
thing.
he has something he doesn't want to turn and burn.
Oh, yeah. No, the three-wheeler. The three-wheel death machine. I need that in my life.
Oh, God. This dude does live dangerously.
Has no brakes. It's awesome.
No brakes, 3 wheels, and
awesome.
And more horsepower than it usually needs.
No, we have a time with that thing. It's fun.
That should have been in Dumont for you.
Yeah, unfortunately, it has no papers, and they don't really like them, so it sits at home.
Oh, John, great question. John Schweer's local guy. Who would you like to work with on a car build? Finally.
That stumped me. Well, there are a few dudes. I mean, dudes that I really look up to as far as our age group and whatever. There's a fella up north. His name's Scotty Chops. Phenomenal metalworker. I've watched him come up like just with his skill level, and he's got like a real kind of classic style about him. So yeah, I've never met him really in person, but every once in a while we'll message each other on Instagram or whatever. But he's got some style. I'd love to work with him, especially because he's become so proficient with like the planishing hammers and English wheels, stuff like that. He's making some moves.
That's cool. Good plug for a little guy coming up, man.
He's not really a little guy. People know him. He's a freaking skilled dude. That's what I'm saying. It's like his metalworking far exceeds anything that I do. Like he's a bad mofo.
Is there parts of the build that you just like, oh, I hate that part. Like when I was younger, I hated scrubbing the parts for my dad.
36 grit Bondo, the worst. 36 grit is a monster.
Dust everywhere,
especially when you're blocking a big car. Yeah, that's the part I hate.
So have you gone through and just like when it comes, welding you've been certified in, but have you gone through and like taken education in body and paint or any of that other stuff?
Nope, no formal training through anything. A lot of mistakes learning painting, and that's kind of it. I worked with Rich Evans. Rich Evans Designs out of Huntington Beach on a few projects, and he really taught me how to block a car. Winfield collaborated a little on that, Gene Winfield. And, he's the old dude. He's the master. He could run his hands down the car and be like, nope, not straight yet. And that was the thing. It was really just trial and error. You learn how to block a car. It's addictive, really. It's like if you get into like an OCD mentality, block sanding a car, it's like you can't stop. It's like, when's it done? Almost never.
Wow. You're better off me than because I hate it. I hate block setting. I hate bonding.
Well, you got the perfect car for that. You're class 11. You'll never have to do body work on that thing.
No, we'll just throw it in the gutter and get another one.
Perfect.
I'm not in love with any of it, so it's like you say, just keep going, bang out the dents, and put
Right.
another fender on it. And
I
go.
like that style for sure.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Man, I'm just trying to keep up with this, so I apologize with the rapid fire questions we're trying to get through. Everybody, we're definitely deep here, trying to get through these things. So Brazil's checking in, Australia checking in, Hawaii. Man, it's really cool to see that.
It's really interesting with the Instagram and everything. Like you're getting all of these messages, and man, I had no idea the global audience. I mean, thanks everybody for enjoying the show so much. I couldn't have expected all this. Here we are.
Yeah, it's cool, man. And you're encroaching in on episode 50.
I don't know, where are we at? Any idea on that, Brooks?
Yeah, Brooks.
Yeah, we're past 50.
Oh, we're past 50.
Yeah,
That's
almost to 75.
jeepers. That's what we've been doing all these years. We just go. You don't even know. We just go and go and go.
It's such a different treat to just watch the dynamic between you guys work, between you and Brooks, and just how the show.
It's super smooth. Like that's the thing. We just refined it. You know, it's really, like I said, just a couple friends hanging out. So we do have a system. You can see how we work, and it's pretty efficient. Also,
It's a trip. I dig it. I just think it's complementary to one another because just the personality differences and the style, and like the gritty car guy versus the techie video guy, and it just works really well.
yeah, it's interesting.
So, what about any other like background and history and like the drag racing side of stuff, or been gone down the track any of the old muscle car things?
Nope, never been into drag racing.
Just slow and low, and
Yeah. That was one of the first rules of my shop in like 1998. It was actually a handwritten sign that said, "Ian does not give a bleep about race cars." True story. Because I had every guy, low budget race car guy. I need a roll cage. I need some safety things put on the side of this. I got no money. I'll make you famous. You can put your sticker on my car. It's like, no, cash.
yeah, you just paying up. Oh,
Yep.
so where was your very first shop located?
Well, my very first place was I rented a little part of J&E Fabrications. They were kind of the south end of Glendale, Eagle Rock area, where the 2 and the 5 intersect down there, Atwater, kind of that area. And these dudes were cool. I met this dude Eddie at the DMV. I had this weird little VW bus, short wheelbase, about 4 foot long.
Oh, don't get
chop
him started.
top,
Don't
a
get him
little
started on
pickup truck.
minis.
Yeah, no, it's a little shorty, right? So I pull that thing in, New York plates. I got to get it checked out, and he's just like, "Oh, hey, we build stuff like that too. You need a place to work?" I was like, "Yes, sir." Literally the first week I moved here, so that was cool. Worked out for a while, but first place I opened my own thing with the Way Custom Metalworks was in Sun Valley on Glen Oaks Boulevard.
So are they just able to contact you to kind of commission you for a build, or how does that really work?
Well, right now, the show being, whatever season in, it's kind of like prearranged. Everything is all set up. It's more for story. Well, we want to have X amount of this type of material, and this person's better on camera, that type of thing. So right now, I'm pretty much locked in with the TV show.
Well, sorry guys, can't bring it to you
Because I really just want to work on my stuff. All this TV gets in the way.
I mean, what is your list of projects that you still want to get done?
I have a 28 Ford Roadster pickup. I've had the thing for years, and it's just one of those things where it's like I want to drive it, and I just never seem to have time. So I've had another friend doing work on it for me. And I'm like, it's my car. Now I'm hiring people to work on it because I'm busy with the show.
Moose 427 asking, how long does it take for the average build with filming, etc. included?
Forever. It takes right up until the last minute when the credits roll. It takes a long time.
Really?
Like crazy. We're finishing this, finishing the episode, and we're still, putting things together that morning. So it's hard to say there's no average, but months and months and months. And that's why everybody's always waiting for new episodes. It takes a lot of time.
Was there a car you built that started with a single part and then became a complete car? That's a good question.
That is a good question. A single part.
No Mohawk.
That was Johnny's idea, the Mohawk, that aluminum thing. That was out of left field. It was super cool, though. Most stuff starts like with a good opportunity. I don't really seek out something specifically. It usually comes up like it's a good deal or it's a unique piece. So I don't know. The trike, fiberglass trike was pretty cool because that just came up on whatever it was, Craigslist or something. I was like, that's cool. That's got to be an episode. 70s style fiberglass trike.
So I'm thinking, I said, how do we get ourselves in line for one of those show builds? we got some cool cars. We have some good ideas.
I think EMPI is just like, I'm sure. Sorry, Joe, but we got this opportunity over here.
It's a Volkswagen of some kind. So.
I know my producer. He's always like, less Volkswagens. We got to build some kind of other car. It's like, all right, I guess so.
Guys, I know you got we have a strong Volkswagen following here, and I think it's important that you let these guys know, like Brooks right over here in the camera, that you want to see more Volkswagens. You want to see.
We want a well-rounded show, I mean, the 54 Chevy pickup we just finished, I was like, I'm not that excited about it, but when it was done, man, that's a cool truck. Because it was mild, right? It was subtle, but the way we put it together, and it came out really good.
Yeah. That's so cool, man. I'm just trying to keep up. Well, you guys, 29 Roadster pickup. There's one you probably get into, one of the Fritolines.
The weird little high roof notchback looking thing, Type 3, right?
Yeah, it's like a hybrid. It's almost like an old mail Jeep.
Like a mail Jeep.
Yeah.
I remember like Sweden had them or something as little mail trucks. Yeah, I'd love to get one of them.
I would. Those
for
are
sure.
I'd like to see what you could create with that thing.
Yeah, definitely some kind of special delivery. That thing's cool.
You see what I'm talking about? Like just to watch it. That's why I'm kind of giving these questions, and I'm fanboying it a little bit to a point because I'm like watching how the brain works. And I'm always intrigued by what sparks the interest. What you're crazy out there, builder.
The weirder, the better.
Yeah,
right?
And then watching like complimentary stuff with Johnny, because Johnny comes up with some cool stuff, man.
Yeah.
By the way, Johnny, huge fan. Also,
me too.
Dig what you stuff.
Huge fan of that. Guy.
And just watching the brain work, and it's like trust the process keeps coming to mind. Just trust the process. It's the end product will be there. And then,
it's interesting. This 48 Packard we just finished yesterday. That's been another evolving project, and it really is. My client Victor, he's a designer in his own right, and that's really his mode also, is just trust the process. We didn't know what that car was going to look like, and he's like, the car will tell us, don't worry, we'll figure it out. And man, we struggled with the rear bumper on that thing. We made like 10 different rear bumpers, and I don't think it's still right, but it's still evolving. We're trusting the process.
That's cool. You ever build any of the water cooled stuff? You ever mess with any of those?
No, I had an 85 GTI. Machined the head a little bit higher compression, put exhaust on it. That thing was fun. Really, really buzzy. The plastic interior of those things when you hot rod them, just but fun car to drive.
Yeah, that's exactly kind of what I was figuring. Is like some kind of little early Mark 1, Mark 2.
Yeah.
That's cool. How many people do you see building VWs on TV these days?
I don't even watch TV. I don't know.
Guys, you didn't realize he took his satellite dish off. But
seriously, I don't watch TV. I don't know what's going on out there.
So what's like a typical day for Ian? You're filming almost every day, or you film a couple days a week?
Well, once the Learjet lands, and we adjust ourselves to the time schedule. Pretty much wake up, drink some coffee, feed the tortoise, feed the dogs, and go out to the shop and do some stuff.
Your own stuff, right?
When I have time, yeah. But I mean, it's all my stuff. That's pretty neat, I have my workshop at the house now. We were filming in a bunch of different locations. We had a few really good clients that had their own workshops, and were able to spin multiple plates. So there have been times where there was actually a support crew on a few different builds, which really helped. But now it's pretty much at my house, and it's really nice. You walk out the back door, and you're at work.
Doesn't that ever get too much?
Not yet.
All right.
We'll see.
We'll see. It was, the wives were like, yo, 3 a.m. here for the 5th day in a
Oh,
row. You're going to come inside anytime?
Believe it or not, I'm not that guy. Like when we first started the show, it was just gangbusters, right? But we've really come down to a really nice schedule. I work 8-hour days. Sometimes if I got to go 10, whatever, but it's not really that elaborate. Our filming is really, really efficient now. So it's working out well.
That's cool. Norm Roberts. Norm's got a funky car you would like. Yeah. Norm's got a square back, but the back is cut off of it, so it's like a pickup truck. But he's got Olds big block in the back of it on a tunnel ram.
That car's been around for a while.
That thing's been around for a minute.
Badass.
Yeah, he's chiming in. He says he plans on attending the Grand National Roadster Show next year. All VW buildings. We actually have a build.
That huge thing.
Yeah, so we're the sponsor of that building next year, and I think they're limiting to like 100 hand selected cars. So
yeah, a fellow I met, the old school buggy reunion, Court Elger. He's got a cool little tunnel buggy. He was invited to bring that
that's
out,
cool.
as I understand. Yeah,
I think we should get the bus out there, Johnny's deal, and
that thing is in the Great White North. It's way out in Canada, and it's half taken apart. We used a what was it, AMC drivetrain in that? Kind of a little odd choice for an engine and transmission, and it had some trouble. So right now it's apart, and he's going all Chevy.
Oh, okay.
Small block Chevy transmission and rear axle, because it ran great, but it was just kind of not right.
John, so Gia build would be cool. John, not likely. We had a lengthy chat that was like, Gia's too small.
Too small, yeah. Because even if you chop the top on one of those, for me, I'd never fit in there.
Yeah, I was intrigued when you were talking about just laying it totally on the ground and sitting in there. It's definitely different.
Yeah, I had a buddy. He had a 71 Gia, and he smashed the front on it, so I put a whole new nose, an earlier one, so it looked kind of cool. Big taillights in the back and small in the front. But I drove that around for a little while. Auto stick, too.
Oh, God, horrible.
Yeah, the slow race. But it's too small for me.
Johnny Chaminade, how about a short bus, bubble top with fin and wide rear fenders?
Yeah, you should have seen that drawing he did the other day. Really cool.
Johnny, I will receive gladly any type of awesome sketch that you want to share with me, and I will never share it, I promise. But my God, I'd love to see some of those things you come up with. As you can see, some of the toys that we did on the wall, we did a couple little mini bus series for EMPI, and I think it'd be kind of cool to. Somebody at this table here is really big into minibuses too, and he's not even a VW guy, but we're converting him slowly.
Oh, my minibus, man! I would do wheelies with that thing, and then step on the brakes and do nose wheelies. It's so much fun.
Look at that! I mean, he literally made me unwrap those 4 that are in there. They're in a box set, and he made me pull them out and stuff them in there because he has to have the minibus.
Yeah, no, I had turning brakes on that thing.
Oh,
it was hilarious. It was a carnival ride. It was so stupid.
There's like dude in Brazil that's got one that's crazy powered and everything else, got wheelie bar on it, and that's all. I'd love to see one with cutting brakes. Be kind of a noob.
Yeah.
That way you could go up in the wheelie, turn in the wheelie,
spin around,
like
do a little pirouette. It's freaking insane. It's so fun.
See, he can get down with it. You got to do it.
Gasoline splashing out of the back of the thing, out of the fuel cap. It's real fun.
It's living the Volkswagen way, right?
Exactly. Fast and loose.
Oh, Andy Kimball chiming in from Buggy. He's like, gears are too small, and she's like, Type 3 is just right.
Yeah, I have a friend too. He's got out in Inyokern, way out north. He's got a bunch of them. He's got one that's kind of rare. It's a notchback, but there's something about it he said was special.
Well, there we go.
Look into that.
What about the hunt? Like, how do you find some of these cars? Like, is there any
divine intervention? I don't even
ditch
know.
witches. You just
something. They just they just come to me. Even my producer Brooks, he's like, "How did you find this guy?" I'm like, "I don't know. He came to me. He's like, check out my stuff."
Yeah. Oh, I can imagine some of the stories. Hey, come on down here. And
yeah, well, people know, right? It's like, oh wow, you can build anything. Well, check out what I got. It's like,
yeah.
You've been storing this thing for how long?
I'm gonna get to it one day.
Yeah, we went up to this guy's place to look at some stuff, and he's got like kind of a horse ranch, and then he's got just this line of VWs in the back, half a car standing up, and up on top of his barn, he's got an oval window drag car, just like way the heck up in the air. It's like, where do you even get this stuff?
And then they're like, how the hell did you get it up there?
He's like, oh no, use a crane. I was like, well, why is it up on top of your barn? I don't know. It was the coolest thing I had. I want to keep it off the ground.
Everything else is rotting away, but yeah.
Well, that's the great thing about the desert. It's part of the reason I moved out there. Nothing rusts. I mean, if you've never if you haven't grown up on the East Coast of the Midwest, you can't imagine the rust. It's like day and night between here and there.
Just from the salt, I guess, right on the roads.
Salt, yeah, and just rain in general. And I remember was changing my brakes at the first shop I ever rented, and I'd take off the brake drum, drop it on the ground. Literally, it's just chunking off rust. They're like, what the heck happened to your car? I'm like, that's the way they look. Sometimes you can't even take the lug nuts off.
Dude, I'm sitting here looking at this thing, and I'm watching the comments come through, and I'm looking at stuff, and then my wheels are just turning right now, man. And I see things, and I think I see Johnny's commenting on, and then with Ian here, and I'm like, man, we have got to collaborate on a build some way, shape, or form, but it's got to be something just different. So
I got a couple ideas.
Oh, I want to hear it. I mean, tell
It's
us.
hard to describe, but Ed Roth built a car. Oh, shoot. What the heck was the name of that thing? It looked kind of like a speedboat. It had a VW engine in the back, but it had narrowed rear axles, and then it had like 2 projecting front tires. And I want to build something in that vein. So I'll think of the name in a few.
Dude,
Somebody could write it in.
I'm in.
It was if anybody's listening, they know that Ed Roth built it with Dirty Doug. Ended up getting it after he cut it in half, and that car was super cool. Something sort of like that, inspired by that.
Yeah, and the guys in Hawaii are chiming in. We got rust problems here too.
I'm sure. Paradise does have a few issues, and one of them's rain.
What? I'm just the trying to keep up, and my mind's just going a million miles an hour here. With the whole transition, so you've been out here since what, 98?
98. That's when I moved out. Yeah.
You just a hope and a prayer and a dream, and just sent it, huh?
Well, I saved my money.
Well,
Made some plans. I came out here, found a little house to rent, had a little garage, and that was it. Leap of faith. I went.
that is so cool, man.
Everybody's in New York is like, oh, you'll be back. Give it a couple months. Like, no, you don't understand.
They were
home.
They were chiming in. Wink, I know you see you chiming in there. They're saying that they just restored that car.
Yeah.
Galpin Motors.
Galpin's got it. Yep.
Yeah, we'll have to check that one out. So something esh to that.
Yeah. Again, my producer will lighten up a little and let me really let it freak flag fly. We could get some work done. I always push him like that.
if we're commissioning in, or we're working on a project for collaboration, but for Grand National Show, maybe.
Yeah, it's a pretty tight turnaround, but maybe next year. Yeah, for sure.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I love the fact that they're showcasing a lot of those old special cars in the VW scene. Yeah.
It's going to be really neat, just by getting a glimpse of some of the cars that they're bringing out, and some of the history and vintage of some of the old cars they're bringing out. It's pretty cool. Rick Meredith, I think Rick's right on the money there. Rick, I think Ian, you're thinking about the Wishbone, that Roth boat.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'll definitely have to check that one out.
Yeah, really, really interesting idea. And I saw that I think it was in Hot Rod magazine years ago. And I'm, younger kid looking at it, I'm like, wow, that's a bug engine, but the exhaust is unique and, narrowed rear end. And I'm like, wow, that was something, for me, not knowing anything about machining or whatever at the time. It's pretty cool. I'm sure it rode pretty rigid, but it looked cool.
Yeah.
That's all that counts for me.
You ever build any boats or anything crazy?
Strangely enough, the Wishbone idea incorporates something like a boat. So not yet, but maybe.
And then how do you, and I guess it's really not, because you're so kind of just whatever's about a lot of stuff, but, to differentiate yourself or from other builders, what do you think's a good tip for somebody to kind of, besides just getting out and starting and trying, but how do you set yourself apart from somebody else when you're building, so it doesn't kind of fall under, you're doing it like this person or doing it like that person? Is there a tip you could give, or a series of those?
Just follow your heart. Just do what your soul believes. It's that simple.
Just grind it, cut it, and
I
go.
guess so. Just do you, right? Don't subscribe to somebody else's ideas or a certain fashion or following. Just do what you want.
Yeah, I mean, that's about as plain as simple.
For real. I mean, that's
It's
art, right? You just do you. That's what makes something unique.
And I think that's exactly the defining factor, right, between a lot of people, is you look at it as like an artistic creation.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people looking at it as a business to make money, and what a hobby turns into a business. But I think that's probably the best scenario that I could say, that just the little time I've been able to spend with you, you're really into like the artistic creation side of stuff, and just do it. If it screws it up, cut it off, redo it again. And if it's not what you want,
that's exactly true. And I got even a little critique a couple days ago about, well, his work isn't really up to par. He's not the best craftsman. I'm like, yeah, pretty much. But I make some cool stuff. I'm not that hung up on it. As long as it's reasonably safe, reasonably well built, right? It's like, I'm not the best. But, just the ideas are really just what I've always wanted to see in something instead of just restoring another car.
do you have like a sketchbook or stuff that you've ever just kind of had, like, okay, I'm going to like just your wish list, I guess you'd say, of cars that you want to do or build?
Well, years ago, when I was really just, especially when I had a job, right? So it was like I was always sketching out ideas, thinking about stuff. But when I say when I had a job, right, this isn't even work for me. That's before I moved to California. But not really too much, not as far as sketching. It's all just kind of, I'm always working on, like, I have a bunch of stuff always, but it's more like parts gathering, and I'll put something in a pile, look at it, and just kind of ruminate on it for a bit. But not much, not a huge amount of planning or sketching.
That's cool. One guy's asking right now, you said, have you mastered the fiberglass yet?
Fiberglass is a monster. I try to stay away from it, but I keep getting involved. It's a technique for sure, so I'm getting better at it.
Yeah, I saw some of the wet lay you were working on there, and
Yeah, it's
seam
itchy.
and stuff.
Itchy business.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
I'll have to show you off camera here. I got a picture of a nice carbon fiber splinter from my past life, and it went
Right.
entirely through
Ow.
the finger on both sides.
Hmm.
It was fun.
Yeah.
And it is brutal. Wow, like I said, I'm trying to filter these. They're coming through so quick. What percentage of the builds does he consider? Let's see. Let me reread this. What percentage of his builds does he consider an art project compared to a car build?
Well, the percentage is about how much mechanical work I need to do. Obviously, if it's going to be a car that drives on the street, that's the main focus. Is drivability and at least up to code in some regards, so you don't get pulled over. It's got to have a license plate, right? But the percentage varies, but always fashion forward. Always what it looks like. Like I said, kind of low and slow for me. Not really into performance.
I do have to ask though, on the forklift powered buggy thing.
Yeah.
How fast did that thing even go?
It actually went pretty good. Our issue was batteries, so the forklift and the gearing, I had, because the engine rotated reverse of a VW engine, so we could only drive it with the transmission in reverse. But I had a series of solenoids to switch the voltage, and the first gear would run for a long time at a slow speed. But once you got into fourth gear, it would last about 10, 15 minutes. It's kind of like an early little remote control car, value. But it was a kick, yeah. If we could get some real good batteries, it would probably run for a while.
So yeah, Richard, who you met downstairs, him and his brother Timmy, they're building like a Class 5 Baja Bug, Tesla powered.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
thing's
The new technology.
badass.
New technology is unbelievable.
You're talking about big suspension travel and everything else.
And I love the idea of electric cars because of the silence. It's really, I have this little gem car, it's kind of like a glorified golf cart. And it's just such a pleasure to drive around the desert in it. It's just quiet. It's neat.
So what's your perfect escape weekend, like getaway? If you just want to decompress after you grinding it out.
Kind of my house. I mean, the desert. I love it. Vegas is cool, but desert's nice.
Vegas, like casino gambling, nightlife kind of thing, or just
hanging out. Yeah, I like the vibe. That's some place where you can just be something that you're not, right? So it's like, yeah, just go to Vegas. Like the SEMA week, it's so nice because you're there with all the car stuff, but just to go back, have a beverage, play the slot machine a little, blinky lights, that type of thing. It's fun.
All right. I know since you said beverage, and I know my friend over here is a connoisseur. What is the taste? What is the cocktail or
Light beer. I'm simple.
Simple.
I've just been light beer guy forever.
There you go.
Pretty much.
Sorry, no whiskey over here, bud.
No whiskey. No, that doesn't work well.
The 90% of the show is a person building the car, and 10% editing the show. Charismatic person, seem cookie cutter. His wife is. Oh, that's kind of cool. So the 90% of the show is the person building the car, and 10% editing. If the show don't have a charismatic person, it seemed like cookie cutter. So that's why we follow the Ian and this great charismatic person.
That's real cool. I appreciate it. I had no idea, but here we are.
Now, who would have ever thunk it?
Who would have thunk it? I mean, I did take one acting class just for the heck of it, so maybe that helped. I don't know.
Online.
No, I went to the community college. I don't know why the heck I even did that, but it's like right around when I was doing welding school. I don't know. I took an acting class.
That's cool. Well, man, I can't even. It's already been an hour. I mean, it
was quick.
It went quick, and that's what's cool, man. Is it's vibing and it's having fun, and just being able to share a common passion for cars that I think we all share.
Yeah, I appreciate the invitation. I've got some feedback on Instagram, and whatnot. Hey, you never respond. It's like, I'm working, right? So here's my opportunity to respond. Thanks for the questions, and just stay tuned.
Yeah, guys. I mean, it's been cool to have a one-on-one on asking Ian and get some input and some of this stuff. And again, a big shout out to the VW community, John specifically, just for really pushing us to kind of poke and prod to get at him. And we've been working on this for a while and didn't know. And then you're like, oh, yeah, I'm going to be able to be free this time, this date. Like, we'll make it happen.
Yeah, for sure. I told you I'd come down. So here we are. And as far as a collaboration, sounds good.
I like the sound of that. And if you guys want to get him in and see him in the Class 11 car, let him know. Drop it in there. Send him a DM.
Oh, it's not going to take much convincing. Count me in.
Wink. I see you're still on. You should be on the road by now to get here to show him your car. Get on the road and get over here and show him that thing. And we'll do some burnouts.
Cool.
Maybe we'll try to do a wheelie or something.
I like wheelies.
Especially nose wheelies in a shorty bus.
Yeah, for sure.
Man, dude, thank you so much. I mean, I could sit here and talk for more time than you would allow, and especially the long drive home. But it's been awesome. You got a lot of guys that are chiming in, saying consider you being a mentor to an old car guy who wants to learn. Let me know. I'll be there. And I mean, that's awesome.
It really is. I had no idea the impact that this show had. It's just crazy. I mean, it's such an honor to get that type of response, because the other thing would be them throwing tomatoes at you every time they see you, right? So it's really cool.
I mean, 75 episode deep, and then still with the original network from you started. It's pretty damn cool, and it speaks volumes for really what you guys are doing. And it's very cool. And shout out to you and your group for making the time for us.
Right on.
And I'm really looking forward to tinkering on something with you.
Sounds good to me.
I think we're gonna go hang out in the shop for a little bit and maybe try something cool. Maybe we'll try to make something cool.
I've made a couple cool things, so maybe we could do that.
Well, guys, I don't even know what to say. Ian Roussel, Full Custom Garage, the crew here, Brooks behind the camera messing around, sticking the thing in my nose. This has been an awesome episode, and we couldn't do any of this without the support of you guys out in the community that we want to fulfill. And we want to feel guys bringing in dudes like Ian and watching some of the stuff grow, and we can see the comments growing. So thank you. Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Brooks. Thank you for everybody for making this possible. We'll catch you next week with some more of it. Stay tuned on the IG for some of the live episodes tonight, little snippets, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at EMPI Insider. We'll catch you guys next week.